It's 12:15. You know what time it is. It's time for Curtis Collings presents the Sports Hour, and we have some big sports to talk about. I guess we'll jump into it initially. Football officially back. I mean, it was officially back yesterday, but we got to talk about it today, and that's the big thing. I'm so excited. I mean, it was shaping up to be like a classic yesterday, so we'll get into that. But first, we'll do a little introductory talks. Make sure everything's running smooth. Make sure everything's running good. Of course, everything we've come to know and love. Everything does look good so far. And yeah, it looks like we're going to have a great day. Clear out the pipes. Yeah, so I'm wearing the Tetaroa because this will be my final show until Monday when we come back and I get to talk about, of course, the Panthers, which I got the blanket behind me, a new look. We got so used to the Blue Jay blanket that, yeah, Panthers. It's a good feeling and an exciting feeling at that. So I got everything ready for it today, and then we got a lot of football to talk about. You can see it on the side there. Later on, we will be doing Panthers predictions. So if you are here to listen for the Panthers, make sure you stick around. It's going to be about, I think, 30 some odd minutes, maybe more. We'll see how long I decide to talk about that game from last night. And I'll quit beating around the bush. We will get right into it. As the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles would start the season. And it was shaping up to be like an absolute classic game. An absolute like first game of the year, delivering on all fronts, like as good as it gets. And then well, I guess it's time to explain. I feel like Chick Hicks, I really do. And if you don't know who Chick Hicks is, if you've watched Cars, the Cars movie by Pixar, you would know who Chick Hicks is. He's the green car that hates Lightning McQueen, and I feel the same. I hate Lightning. That was a big meme on Twitter yesterday. Everyone hating the Lightning that was, interrupting the football game. Of course, we will get into that. But that was super frustrating because, yes, I keep saying it, but the game was shaping up to be a classic. I mean, if you watched, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you did not watch, we will get into it, I promise. Make sure you stick around. You keep on listening because we will get into that game. And I got a few things to go over first, especially with the pregame antics. Because it wouldn't be football without some pregame antics, without, some sadly injuries. It's to be expected. On literally the first kickoff, we had an injury, which just, it sucks. That, I feel horrible. And I'm thinking about exactly how I want to phrase this, because this is the actual, one of the most serious things I will talk about on this show in general, and how serious I treat this. My actual issues with the game. So, in the pregame, I'm not going to mention the company because I'm not exactly 100% sure which one I was watching that broadcast the game last night, and I'm going to bad talk them because I have very legitimate gripes and very legitimate issues. So, I won't name names, I won't name companies. I will just say the company broadcasting the game last night heavily disappointed me. It's a thing where if my parents or I or my grandparents paid for any of their products, I would urge them to stop, because to me it's an issue that is only getting worse and will only get worse. So to get into it, in the kickoff show of the game, they showed graphics about the Super Bowl and how the Eagles are moving on to the next year, and there was another graphic about the people in the booth, and both graphics used AI and AI images, which is very disappointing. Not only does it look awful, but that is taking away jobs from people like me and my peers. People that are fresh out of college, fresh out of university, that have done graphic design, that have done animation, that have done both. Maybe people a little older than I, like 25-year-olds, people like my brother's age, who need jobs right now and are not getting jobs right now. And yet the companies that stream and broadcast these games are billion-dollar companies, and their execs and CEOs are worth billions of dollars. The highest of paid broadcasters, the position that I want one day, make millions upon millions of dollars. There's so many people within their businesses that are overpaid, and I'm not saying that the commentators are overpaid. If I made that much money, I would not be saying they're overpaid, obviously. But I'm just saying there's a lot of money going around in these companies, and there's a lot of profits being made. And you're telling me that for about $40,000 a year, you can't hire an intern, a low entry level position animator to make these things? You have to go and use AI, which is free and exploiting the work of humans. Because if you don't know, AI, it's trained on the internet. It's trained on stuff that humans have posted on the internet. It takes it, grabs it, puts it in its brain, and that's what it'll spit out forever and ever and ever. And that's how it works. That's how it's trained on. It will never have an original thought. Much like AI art will never create an original piece. I mean, it'll create art that's never been made before, but it won't be original because it'll be based on something. Whereas if I pick up a pencil and I doodle on a piece of paper, no one else can draw like that because it's me. People can trace it, but no one else can draw exactly like that because it's my style. And that is what AI do. It's basically just tracing and tracing and tracing forever and ever and ever. And it's stealing work that humans have made, and now billion-dollar companies are using it to avoid hiring people like me, people like my brother, my peers. And it's only going to get worse as AI gets better and better over time. It will only get worse. And there's no reason not to use it because it's free. Why hire someone to do something that doesn't cost any money? And the danger with that is that you see it in other industries, and I'll just focus on sports for now, but you see it in other industries within sports. And the fear is that things like AI radio broadcasters, radio hosts, and AI sports commentators will exist one day. And if that's the case, then what's stopping some low-level community college from just using that instead of hiring a student to do it for cheap? In my own personal experience, I went to Conestoga College. I did esports commentary for them. In the future, why would they ever hire students again to do that job when they could get it for free from AI? Conestoga College lays off staff constantly because they're not making enough money. When if you look at the numbers, they make hundreds of millions of dollars every year, but it's not enough. So they lay off staff that have extra jobs, like my producer at esports, laid off. The radio station at Conestoga College, the program director, laid off. It's the thing where if there could be an AI generated commentator, they would do it to save the bottom line. And that's what all these billion-dollar companies seem to do, is they make all this money, and yet no one has jobs and no one's getting this money. They're just keeping it. They're hoarding it and trading it amongst each other. And so now we're seeing it. It's not happened to radio broadcasters and commentators, but it's happened to artists. We saw it last night. Several different artists and animators lost their jobs. Plain and simple. Because the highest of high level is now doing it. What's going to stop the lowest and middle class from just evaporating like that? It disappoints me to no end. It's one of the most depressing things in the world of media and sports right now. Yeah, really upsetting. I'll never buy a product. I'll never pay for one of their services again. If the company sees it, I would stand by that tooth and nail. I think you're stealing jobs, and I think you're stealing opportunity. Um, Eventually, the old people in charge will die, and we're not incorporating young people to take over. We're failing each other, and yeah. So that's my actual issues because that's a huge issue I had, and I couldn't stand it. It made me angry watching the game, and then the game started. Actual football. Well, no. Actual football did not start after that. What an idiot. And I'm not just talking about Jalen Carter. I'm also talking about Dak Prescott. Both guys are guilty here. But what an idiot for both. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll move on to the actual game. And this is pre-game. The kickoff happens. Player goes down on the first play. Sucks. Horrible. Don't like to see that. And while the injury timeout is going on, the Cowboys are huddled up. And Dak sees Jalen Carter and spits in his direction, on the ground, in his direction, to be disrespectful. Of course, they're competitors. They want to get in each other's heads. Jalen Carter is a hothead. Dak knows what he's doing. I'm not defending his actions, but as a competitor, I get it. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. It's just some spit on the ground at the end of the day, is what Jalen Carter should think. But Jalen Carter does not think that. Jalen Carter gets upset and goes right up to the Cowboys team, and Dak actually comes out and confronts him. They get face to face. Bicker. Spit. Jalen Carter spits on Dak, on his chest, and you're gone. Out of the game. The Eagles, probably second best defender, gone. Their lead run stopper, out. So that was real smart of him. What an idiot. And then Dak, maybe he's not an idiot. Maybe he knew what he was doing. I think he did, personally. He's been in the league a long time, near a decade. He's a smart guy. He's a smart quarterback sometimes. But as a competitor, I respect it. It's a Eddie Guerrero type of move, if we're being honest with each other. Because that's right in the lie, cheat, and steal handbook. Hitting the ground with a chair and throwing it to your opponent and going down. Look, I'm not trying to glaze him too much, but I think he's a genius for this. Did it matter? We'll find out. So, first off, wow. What a first half. That was unreal. That first half happened. I was watching the game with Nolan, who we did our NFL standings predictions, and we looked at each other and said, "That's exactly what I predicted to happen." Not exactly. We'll get into that, but I was like, "Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought this was going to be a classic. I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game that finished 35. I think my official prediction was either 35-31 or 35-28, depending on if the Cowboys got a field goal." I think watching the game with Nolan, I officially said 35-31, a 4-point win. I say that because on Sleeper, I'm in a pick'em league where you pick the spread for every single matchup. And the matchup in this one was you pick either the Eagles to win by a touchdown or the Cowboys to keep the score within 7. And I said, I think the Cowboys will keep the score within 7. And I officially went with my 35-31 prediction. And what did the score end up? 21-20. So I was right with the 4 points. I was just way off. Like, whoa, way off with that final score. I was really optimistic. Really optimistic. And again, that first quarter, it gave me so much reason. More so second quarter, the first half, I should say, gave me so much reason to be optimistic. And then, yes, lightning. I'm Chick Hicks. I hate lightning. To get into it, I guess we'll just get right into this first quarter. And before we get into this, I'll do a little background. At my time at Conestoga, I made a video series for the Conestoga television series. They might air, they might not, who knows. Conestoga Connect CCD TV, Conestoga Condors Direct Television. And what I did for them is I made three, I think they were 30-minute long. They were long. They were, whew, three 30-minute long videos that were about my most important, in my opinion, Super Bowls, World Series, and NBA Finals of all time. And so the Super Bowls one, I mean, and what those videos did is they gave me a lot of experience standing in front of a camera, talking for an hour straight, and recapping games, which, hey, who knew that would be a very valuable skill? Now, those I scripted, which then, like, we had the scroller, and I got to read it off the monitor, and really fascinating stuff. This one, we're kind of just, off the top of the dome. But we would start the game with, of course, kickoff. I'm pretty sure the Eagles went to the Cowboys, and then that's when the Eagles player would go down. Dak and Jalen Carter would have their interaction, and it wouldn't really get in his head, I guess. Dak's head, I mean his, because they would, 3-minute, 11-second drive, 53 yards, touchdown. It felt really easy. Like, almost every single play was successful. It was Javonte Williams looking like the guy that, the Broncos thought he was going to be out in North Carolina. It looked like a complete return to form for Javonte Williams. It was awesome. It didn't last, but this first drive, it was. He rushed for 7 yards. Kevontae Turpin got involved. George Pickens got a catch. When we look at the stats, that was one of those ones I was like really wrong about, unfortunately, because George Pickens, 4 targets, 3 catches, 30 yards. My bad. I mean, I predicted 60, so it's only half of what I predicted. It could have been worse. It could have been like 2 catches, but this is one of his 3 all game, and we'll see if that gets in his head. This is a guy that alpha male receiver, aka just toxic as it gets. I mean, not a guy you want in the locker room, and they did so much just like hand holding all offseason, participation trophy awarding. CeeDee Lamb, we're both wide receiver ones. No, you're not. For reference, CeeDee Lamb in this game, okay, first George Pickens, to reiterate, 4 targets, 3 catches, 30 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 13 targets, 7 catches, 110 yards. Their tight end, Jake Ferguson, 6 targets, 5 catches, 23 yards. I mean, didn't get the yards, but more targets, more catches. He's definitely getting not quite the role I feel like he wanted. But regardless, they would drive down great. A deep pass to CeeDee Lamb. I thought that Dak, that's the Dak I expected. The 260-yard Dak that's going to throw it deep to CeeDee Lamb, get him his 100 yards. And then they go deep. They're on the 1-yard line. Javonte Williams punches it in. Looked very smooth. Looked like I thought it was going to look. I thought this Cowboys offense was going to be good. It was good. Better than I expected, actually. That run game. It worked great. Of course, no Jalen Carter. Probably why it looked so great, if we're being honest with each other, but still, facts are facts. They looked good. Take what you can. This would then move on to the Philadelphia Eagles drive, which had a lot of people get involved, which this was fine. Before the drive started, Nolan looked at me and said, over, under, longest run for Saquon Barkley, over under 15.5 yards. And I said under. His longest run was 16 yards. I lost, but what a line. Weirdly enough, he would run a 16-yard run, and then Will Shipley would come in, have a 5-yard run, and then have a 20-yard run, and then get a huge catch at some point in the game. But Will Shipley was kind of cooking, and so was the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, Jalen Hurts would not get a tush push like I said he did. Instead, rushed in a very talented, a very good touchdown after a very efficient drive. They would take just 5 minutes to get down the field and give it back to the Cowboys, who, again, took the lead early. 7-7 is the score now. Cowboys, still looked great. I like it was exactly what I was expecting them to look like going into this game. I was like, yeah, they're gonna have that good offense, but their defense is gonna suck. And that first half, it was almost exactly what I promised. So this drive, Javonte Williams getting more work, looking amazing, and then some great passes from Dak Prescott, hitting CeeDee Lamb, hitting Miles Sanders twice, which wasn't actually very good. And then threw deep for George Pickens, got a DPI, 34 yards. I mean, of course they accept it. We joked, Noel and I, about would you ever like not accept that? Like if the ref makes like an egregiously bad call, do you not accept it like to show him up? I assume not, unless it's like a blowout. That's what Nolan said. So either way, because of that pass interference and a couple really nice Javonte Williams runs, they would go up 14-7. So Javonte Williams, 2 touchdowns in basically a quarter. He would score that second touchdown as the first play of the second quarter. But basically 1 quarter of work, Javonte Williams, 2 touchdowns. We go right back to the Eagles on offense, and what do? Go right back to scoring yet again. Just unreal back and forth this game was. Every single drive it felt like was going to score for the rest of the game because the Eagles looked like they were experiencing a bad Super Bowl hangover, as I thought they would, and their defense didn't look sharp as it did last year. So I was, I felt very vindicated in my predictions, to say the least. This would set up, though, more scoring, as I was saying. As this would be more Saquon Barkley, great work. Dallas Goedert getting involved. Jalen Hurts scrambling, and Saquon Barkley would eventually set them up on the 9 as Jalen Hurts would scramble again for a touchdown. A really talented, reading the field, not finding anyone open, which he struggled with all game, finding anyone open deep, whether it was the fault of the wide receivers or the fault of Jalen Hurts. Who knows? If you ask Twitter, it was Jalen Hurts' fault. If you ask some people on Twitter, it was A.J. Brown's fault. So we'll get into that. Either way, they would score a touchdown. Right now, the touchdowns are 2 for Javonte Williams, 2 for Jalen Hurts, going at each other. So fascinating game so far, to say the least. The Cowboys would get the ball back, this with 6 minutes left in the second quarter. And this would be the first non-touchdown drive, but Brandon Aubrey would still kick a field goal clean through the uprights, as you expect. Go back to the Eagles. They would be given the ball with 2 minutes, 34 seconds, and have a great drive. It would take them till 51 seconds left in the quarter to score, as Saquon Barkley would punch in a 10-yard touchdown. 3 rushing touchdowns for the Eagles to 2 rushing touchdowns for the Cowboys. 1 for Saquon, which I said he would do. I think I said he would do 2, though, so my bad. Sorry, y'all. This would make the score 21-17, as the ball would be given back to the Cowboys, maybe with too much time, 51 seconds left. Dak Prescott completes some really nice passes, get some really nice penalties, and they would set up Brandon Aubrey for a 53-yard field goal, and that would be cash. And we'd go into the second half 21-20. What a game so far. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals for the Cowboys. 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal for just 3 touchdowns for the Eagles. I got ahead myself on that field goal, which would be at the second half. If I was smart, I'd be able to pull up just first half stats. But I'm not that smart, so I can't do that. But the first half was very successful, and pretty much if you look at the statistics, like on the box score, they might as well just be the first half stats, because the second half was bad, and we might as well just get into it, because they're still playing football. So we'd come out of the halftime. Eagles would, get the ball to start the half, as they kicked off to start the game. They would drive. It wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be like it was before, but, they would still get to the Dallas 40, and Jake Elliott would kick a 58-yard field goal, and it was money, really good field goal, and this is where the fun would stop, as it was shortly after this field goal, the Lightning would come back, and I hate Lightning. I can't remember. It was one of the Barstool idiots that are funny that tweeted about it. So hate Lightning. That sucked. Very yeah. Kind of ruined the flow of the game. I can't remember when at night it was. It was around 10:30 maybe. And we didn't get football again till 11:30. It was an hour plus delay. It was tough. That was ruined the players. Like the players were completely out of it. The commentary was just like, wow, they had to fill so much time. They basically were having a podcast. They basically did the sports hour in the middle of a football game, except they had like 8 people to bounce around. So it was probably a lot easier, to fill that time. But again, I don't envy them. That's not a fun situation to be in. I've been in similar tech delays for esports commentary, so I know the pain. I've had to cover for a rain delay before in baseball. It's not fun. And I remember one of the reporters or commentators, one of the people on TV, said that the players were good. They got Uncrustables and cold cut sandwich and Gatorades, and they'll be all good. And they were not all good. I think the Uncrustables and cold cuts might have been a mistake. I think that slowed them down. The rest of this game was just not good. Some big plays, I guess. We'll talk about big plays. Miles Sanders ripped off a 50-yard run and then fumbled like immediately after. So that's funny. They stopped giving Javonte as many opportunities. Dotson got a long catch. But other than that, that was it. Really, it's funny. I'm going to read how the drives went because it's very easy. So for the Eagles drives, drive 1, touchdown. Drive 2, touchdown. Drive 3, touchdown. Drive 4, field goal. Drive 5, punt. Drive 6, punt. Drive 7, punt. Drive 8, kneel. End the game. Cowboys, drive 1, touchdown. Drive 2, touchdown. Drive 3, field goal. Drive 4, field goal. Drive 5, fumble. Drive 6, punt. Drive 7, punt. Drive 8, turnover on downs. Weather delays, we might as well have just called the game at halftime. We might as well have just been like, all right, everyone go home. Don't waste your time staying up till 1 a.m. to finish out this game. It's going to suck. Nothing's going to happen. Go home. And when I say nothing's going to happen, I mean nothing's going to happen. If we're going to look at the statistics, star wide receiver, A.J. Brown, 1 target, 1 catch, 8 yards. I don't know how he doesn't get more usage. And people were calling Jalen Hurts a fullback because he wasn't finding anyone downfield. Devontae Smith, also talented game. 3 for 3 for 16. What a game. I feel bad for anyone who had those guys in fantasy. I fade Devontae Smith a lot. Clearly for good reason. And I think I have A.J. Brown in 1 league, so that's tough for me. Dallas Goedert, 7 for 7, 44 yards. Didn't get that touchdown for me. There were no throwing, no passing touchdowns. Somehow the leader in receiving yards for the Eagles was Jahan Dotson with 3 for 3 for 59 as he had a 51-yard catch. So, yeah, that's the type of game it was. If you want to look at the Cowboys side wasn't much better. Jake Ferguson, 6 for 5, 23. George Pickens, 4 for 3 for 30. CeeDee Lamb, 13 for 7, 110 yards. Great game. I predicted 100 yards. I predicted a touchdown. Didn't deliver. Could have had a lot more yards, too, had he not dropped a couple. I saw an example of 4 that hit his hands and he didn't catch. So that's always tough. I thought Dak Prescott was going to be back for the first half. It looked like it. Then he lost it. He only threw for 188 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So, clean game, I guess. But a quarterback rating of 76.6, not great. Jalen Hurts threw for 152 yards, no passing touchdowns, no interceptions. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, as he had 14 rushing attempts and 62 yards. I mean, he got it done with his legs. He was a very smart, cerebral quarterback in this game. Whether or not he was finding his wide receivers, he only threw 4 incompletions, picked up a ton of first downs, and brought the Eagles to a win. At the end of the day, that is what matters. It's not like this guy's going to win MVP, but hey, he's a Super Bowl MVP. So that's, I guess, to some people, that's more important. Saquon Barkley, 18 rushing attempts for 60 yards. He did get a touchdown, but that's Saquon Barkley, That's not what we expect out of him. Will Shipley, kind of got involved. 3 rushes for 26 yards. I like that. He's on my fantasy team. And then looking at the rushing for the Cowboys, Javonte Williams, 15 rushing attempts, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns. Why did they start giving Miles Sanders carries? I'll never know, as he had 4 carries for 53 yards, his longest being that 49-yarder. That should have been a touchdown, but he is old and done. He sucks. Got caught by a linebacker. That's how bad he is. And he fumbled. So, shout out those rushing threats. Both teams had it until they didn't, and then they really didn't. And that's why I say, when you look at those stats, majority of those came in the first half. Plain and simple. So take that how you will. A lot was, there's a lot of stuff in that game that was very to watch, especially the penalties taken by the Eagles. We'll see if they clean it up, but I'm feeling real confident in my 10-7 prediction for the Eagles. Really confident. We'll talk about the Panthers now. We'll leave that at bay. In one of my leagues, the Pick'em League, where we pick the spreads, I was part of 38 other people in a group of 250 that picked the Cowboys. So that feels good. Felt like bragging about that. Real casual. So now we'll get into the Panthers. Very excited to talk about the game that's coming up on Sunday. Should be very exciting, and it should be a very good game. Hopefully it's not just a good half game and it's a good full game. But you never know. Especially with the Panthers. They get burned a lot in week 1s in the past. So we'll go over some stat predictions. We'll look at what FanDuel has for them. So pulling it up just to see some over-unders. Of course, the big people we're going to be looking for is what they're thinking for Bryce Young, what they're thinking for our guy. Let me get that number 4. This 4 is the best 4. Our guy, Nalo Tetero-McMillan. We'll see what he can do. Chuba Hubbard rushing it in. So looking at some lines, looking at some spreads. Not that we might have a little bit of fun with this. We'll see. We'll see. Either way, we'll look at this. So the spread is Jacksonville is projected to win by over 3. So if the Panthers lose by 3, the spread, we make money. I love that spread. I think the Panthers are just going to win the game. And if the Panthers are going to lose, it's going to be by a field goal. So I'll take that. The money line, Panthers plus 164. I'm hammering that. And then the over-under is 46.5. I think it's going to be an over. It's the Panthers defense. I think this is going to be like a 30-28 game. The over-under should be set closer to 54. It should be like a college football game, honestly. Looking at some anytime touchdown numbers here, you got Chuba Hubbard leading the way at minus 115. I love it. They think he's going to get in, and I do too. So Chuba Hubbard, anytime touchdown. Not that I'm smashing it at that number, but that number, it makes me happy because there's belief. As I have, wow, look at that cowlick. Holy. I've never had one like that before. That's a fresh experience. I had an antenna sticking up. But looking at some of the wide receivers, and I guess I'll finish looking at the running backs. Tank Bigsby plus 120, Travis Etienne plus 140. I think he's the lead back. I'm shocked right now that that's how the numbers pan out. And then Rico Dowdle plus 350. That's all for the running backs. If we look at any time for the wide receivers, Brian Thomas Jr. leading the way plus 125. And then Tedero McMillan. Very exciting that he's the number 2 guy at plus 175. I think he's finding the end zone personally. Travis Hunter, offense or special teams only, no defense, plus 180. Xavier Legette, plus 260. So that's a guy that might make a splash. If Bryce Young can find Jatavion Sanders for plus 360, I love it. And then for rushing touchdowns, Trevor Lawrence plus 390. Bryce Young plus 500. Hold on. Wait a minute. Are you kidding? Plus 500 for Bryce Young? Since getting, okay. Let's take a minute and look at the Carfax. Since coming back from injuries, from weeks 8 to weeks 18, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns. From weeks 12 through 18, so after the bye week, if you don't include his first 3 games back from being benched and getting back into the swing of things, and that's basically when elite Bryce Young was born post-bye week, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. He had his 5 touchdowns in 7 games. He had touchdowns against Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, Dallas, Arizona, and 2 against Atlanta to close out the year. For plus 500? I'm not saying do it, but I'm not saying don't do it. That's all I'm gonna say. That is a spicy number. Wilds that's his number. If we look at the passing yards number, plus 200, like Bryce Young to throw 200 plus yards, negative 160. That means FanDuel fully believes in him to throw for over 200 yards. That makes me very happy. On the other side of the coin, Trevor Lawrence plus 200 plus yards is negative 320. So they know he's going to do that. Bryce Young, it's more so we got to prove it still. We got to prove it. And this is the year to prove it. Looking at the Bryce Young for passing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown, minus 390. They're more than confident he's going to get at least 1. For 2 or more, it's plus 144. I like that. I think I like that. I think he's going to hit it, so I think plus 144, it's going to be money, if you ask me. But I'm an optimistic Panthers fan. What else am I going to say other than I'm being optimistic? Chuba Hubbard, 80 plus rushing yards, plus 210. That's a wild line, if you ask me. As a guy that was really good for getting those 90, 190 yard games, especially against Jacksonville, who we'll see with their defense, but I feel like we're going to be able to hang points on them. Who knows? I just have confidence. I can't not have confidence. Tedero McMillan, looking at his receiving yards lines, if you're going to be looking at that 70 plus, 80 plus, for 70 plus, it's plus 102. For 80 plus yards, plus 154. I mean, this is all making me so optimistic for this game, and I'm thinking they're disrespecting the Panthers big time here. The over-under for the Panthers points, over 21.5, negative 108. Chuba Hubbard's going to get a rushing touchdown. Bryce is going to throw two passing touchdowns and potentially rush 1 in. 4 touchdowns right there. Do we win 28 to something? I hope so. Maybe 28 to 27, 28 to 21, 28 to 24. One of those scores feels right. I doubt we kick a field goal with our new rookie kicker. But maybe we do. I mean, we're a team that likes to go for it on 4th down. I mean, we showed that last year, and we had a very high success rate, much like the Commanders. Not as successful as the Commanders, but still something to consider. Cannot wait for this game. I guess my official prediction will be 28-24. I think it's going to be a great game. 3 touchdowns and a field goal for the Jags, 4 touchdowns normally for the Panthers. Panthers pick up a win to start the season. I think Bryce Young is going to throw for 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, and get a rushing touchdown. I think Chuba Hubbard's going to get 85 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. I think Tetairoa McMillan's going to catch one of those touchdowns. I think Hunter Renfrow is going to catch the other one. Him or maybe Jatavion Sanders. That's who I'm like neck and neck on. But I know Tetairoa McMillan is starting his career off hot with a touchdown. And then if you're going to look for yards, I think Tetairoa is going to get at least, I think he's going to do around 75 yards with the touchdown. Xavier Legette. Now that's a question, and that's a debate. I have no idea what to predict for him. But Hunter Renfrow, I think he might get, a solid 50, 40 yards, hopefully, and a touchdown. Jatavion Sanders hopefully gets 40 to 50 yards and a touchdown. Either or of those guys gets the touchdown, I'll be happy. And then for the Jags side, I don't know. I'm here for the Panthers. I haven't gotten to talk about them for actual meaningful football in a very long time. I mean, ever. I mean, preseason is not meaningful football. This is meaningful football. How is the defense going to do? I don't know. Am I being optimistic, thinking they're only going to give up 24 points? Yeah. We'll be honest with each other. 24, optimistic as a fan. This game is more likely than not going to be a 31-28 loss than a 24-point give up, so I'm nervous. Week 1s always make me nervous, though, especially as a Panthers fan. Last year was bad against the Saints, as bad as it gets. 2 years ago, I think that was the game against the... No, we'll find out. I actually want to know, because it was 3 years ago we faced the Browns with... of course, that was Baker as our starting quarterback. Lost that one. I think we've lost the first game of the season 3 years in a row now. Yeah, because Bryce Young, his rookie first game was against Atlanta. Not great. And then last year, his first game was against the Saints. Not great. And then before that, it was against the Browns. Not great. And then the year before that, it was actually great. It was actually amazing. We started 3-0. With Sam Darnold as our starting quarterback in 2021. That's the last time the start of a season has been good. So we'll see this year. I mean, I am optimistic, as you can tell. Very optimistic. I love these guys. I love this unit. I think Hunter Renfrow is going to be good. But there's always that question mark. I just can't wait for Jalen Coker to come back from his injury. Probably going to hopefully be week 5, because that's the soonest he can come back. Hopefully not week 6. Hopefully he's fine. It looks like Ike Ekwonu will not be playing tonight, as we have can't remember, but our backup left tackle will be in, and he is a big, big lad. So we'll see how that goes. J.C. Horn will be playing. It looks like the whole defense will be playing. How optimistic that makes you? I don't know. It makes me a little bit more. A little more happy than, it's better than last year's T. That's the bottom line. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Panthers game Sunday. Bring it on, Jaguars. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. Chuba Hubbard, 80 yards. Rico Dowdle. I don't know. He'll probably only pick up like 30 yards unless he has like a really explosive run. I guess I'll announce before we hop over to the Blue Jays versus Yankees series preview, there will be regular videos coming out, or at least I'm going to try. That might just become a segment on the Sports Hour. We'll see. But I'm going to go into this NFL season with $17 in betting money. And every Panthers game, I'm only betting $1. I'm not going to add money to my account. I'm not going to take money out of my account. It's just going to be the $17. So by the end of the year, hopefully I have more than 17. But if at the end of the year I'm at 12, hey, I lost 5. I didn't lose it all. If I go 0 for 17, that means I finished the year with $0. That's not possible. The goal always is to profit. I think on this game 1, I might go a little, we're probably gonna lose this first bet. I'm betting I'm betting Bryce anytime touchdown plus 500. How can I not? Plus 500 for Bryce Young rushing touchdown? Did we not watch the end of last year? So I'm gonna do Bryce Young plus 500 anytime rushing touchdown, and then we'll build it out. I mean, I was looking at the lines. I think I'm gonna smash the over in a parlay with that touchdown, and maybe hit up something for Tedero McMillan. I don't really like betting on rookies though, but there's no one else really reliable. It's gonna be really interesting to see, regardless. And so yeah, we'll make that. Hopefully, it's just gonna be 17 videos once a week tracking that bet. It's gonna be me about placing the bet, watching the game, and then if we make money, and it'll be a weekly tracker. And the goal, my line, if I finish with $10 or more, I'm happy. If I finish with under $10, that means I probably hit one or two bets that were only worth like 50 to 60 cents in profit because they were automatic and I was afraid of losing a lot. But it'll be fun to track throughout the season. 17, my favorite number. 17, Xavier Legette's number. Maybe we end the season with just Xavier Legette anytime touchdown. That could be funny for game 17. But we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a really fun series and a really fun way to track this Panthers team, and responsibly. If you're going to be following along and if you're going to be playing along, please make sure you do so responsibly. Gambling is a slippery slope. It's a dangerous slope. So do so responsibly and do as I am. Put in your money to start the year and try your best not to put in any more. Use it responsibly. Have a plan of attack. Don't bet willy-nilly. That's how you lose money. There's a good chance I actually make money out of this, which would be cool. There's a better chance I lose money. So it'll be very fun, very exciting regardless. And also nerve-wracking, much like this series against the Yankees is about to be for the Blue Jays. As we will hop over to some baseball talk. As tonight, 7:05 p.m., the 81-59 Blue Jays take on the 78-62 Yankees. Our pitcher, Kevin Gausman. I trust him. Please. I trust him. I trust him to pitch 6 innings, get 8 strikeouts, maybe walk a dude or two, and give us a chance with that bullpen. And then the Yankees have Cam Schlitter. I think that's how you say it. Schlitter. SCHLITTLER. I have him in fantasy. I might bench him because I think the Jays are going to all over him. Jays are going to get all over him. We just scored 13 runs and 12 runs. I want to see it continue, baby. I want to see this offense keep her going. And I am afraid of Aaron Judge, so we have to keep the offense going. No matter what pitcher we have in, I know we're not going to shut these guys out. We're at least going to give up 2 runs. At least. So the offense has to deliver. It has to show up. And show up it has lately. If you want the counting stats, Bo Bichette, 91 RBIs on the season, 307 average. Vladdy, 77 RBIs, 22 home runs, but a 293 average. And his OPS plus, where 100 is league average, is in the 130s. He's 30% else better than the average hitter. A guy like Junior Caminero, who has 40 home runs and 100 RBIs, so almost 20 more home runs, almost 30 more RBIs, has an OPS of 128. And Vladdy's was 134 last I looked. So it's not all about the counting stats, but they do make me happy. Continuing to look at our Toronto Blue Jays, George Springer, 307 this season with 27 RBIs and 72 RBIs and 27 home runs. Flip the numbers. My apologies. Unreal season. Unreal season. One of the best age 35 or older seasons that anyone's had. Barger, 65 RBIs, 19 home runs. A real coming out party. Kirky, batting 299 himself with 65 RBIs. Ernie Clement has 41 ribbies on the year. A shocking guy to have that many. Ty France, 52 RBIs. Nathan Lucas, 55. I mean, this is the team. This is the team. If it's going to deliver, it's got to be those bats, and it's got to be those starting pitching. What bullpen guys are going to come out? Oh, I don't want to know. Surprise me. Surprise me when the day comes, because if I know ahead of time, I'm going to be nervous. When I see them warm up, I'm going to be nervous. When I see them on the mound, I'm going to be nervous. But you know who I'm not going to be nervous when I see on the mound? Max Scherzer, as he takes the mound Saturday. And again, his last outing, not the finest, but again, majority of his outings, 3 runs, 2 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs. Very good games. Very good games. Against New York, we'll see. We'll see if they hop on the old man, and we'll see if he can deliver. Of course, he's going to be going against Luis Gil, who has only started, or at least gotten credited for 3 games. He's 2-1 on the season. But of course, he'll be dangerous regardless. This is a good New York Yankees team. It's a better Blue Jays team. And then Sunday is, of course, the final game of the series. Just a 3-gamer. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to have Chris Bassett taking over the mound. That's probably going to be my most nerve-wracking game for the starters as we take on Max Fried, who has been phenomenal this year. He's got an ERA under 3, and that's how you know he's been good. It's going to be a very exciting series, and it's going to be very exciting to talk about Monday, potentially Tuesday, because Monday's going to be a lot of talk about football. Like, a lot of talk about football. So, we'll see. But the Blue Jays versus Yankees is going to be one of the most important series of the year, as looking at the standings in the American League East, we're, of course, 81-59, and they're 78-62. We're 3 games exactly up on them. The Red Sox are 78-63, so they're half a game back on the Yankees, 3.5 games back from us. Looking at the playoff picture in the American League, they're both pretty comfortably in there. The Mariners are a game and a half up on the Rangers, and the Mariners are Mariners are a couple games back of the Red Sox. So not much to worry about there. It's not a matter of making the playoffs. It's a matter of having this 1 seed, and this is going to be probably the most important series. I think it's either going to be this series or it's going to be the second series against the Red Sox, or both series against the Red Sox, really. Because we got this series, Astros, Orioles, Rays, Royals, Red Sox, Rays. So, no, we only have 1 more series against the Yankees, 1 more series against the Red Sox. Those are the easily most important series to close out the year. We have to win 2 of 3 in both. If we only get 1 win or 0 in both series, kiss the season goodbye, because it's done. I'm not super worried about the Rays. I'm not super worried about the Orioles. They just need to deliver. And then the Astros series, we better beat them. And then the Royals, again, we have 2 series against the Rays. Are the Rays going to be a thorn on our side? I pray they aren't. And then we have 1 series against the Red Sox, 1 series against the Yankees. And that's what it's all come down to. The whole season has come down to this. So buckle up, strap in, get ready, and watch the games. That's my biggest just anything would just be watch these games. These are the most important games of the season. And I think they're going to be some of the biggest games just in all of MLB before the playoff starts. I mean, I'm a homer, obviously, for the Blue Jays. I think everything we do is important, but when it comes to standing statistics, everything, Aaron Judge being involved makes it even more important as well. It's going to be big, and it's going to be important. So, Blue Jays, Yankees, tonight, 7 p.m. Not exactly. I think it's 7:05, but you get the point. So we only got about 5 minutes left here on the Sports Hour. It's been a very fun day. Very excited for tomorrow. And then I'm even more excited about Sunday. and to hop back on Monday, which, of course, will be a great day. Don't got much else to talk about, really. I mean, we'll close out 5 minutes. I'll just reiterate the most important part of the day and the most important thing that I saw just from yesterday's broadcast, and that's the use of AI, and it's that we need to stop this. We need to give animators their jobs back. We need to give artists their jobs back. And a lot of people will say, get with the times. And when the calculator came out, I'm sure there were people that were like, oh, don't use the calculator. Do it in your head. But this is different because this is stealing. It's not like calculators are stealing. AI just steals from people. And that I cannot stand. So a big thing that I learned is like learn how to use AI and learn how to make AI images that look good and learn how to use it for prompts and use it as an idea creator, which is just an idea stealer. If you do brainstorming with AI, you're stealing ideas that already exist on the internet. It's plagiarism at its finest. I could go on. But it shouldn't be a thing of there should not be AI artists. Like as a job, there should not be AI, like a guy whose job it is to make AI art for these graphics. That should not be a thing. It should be animator. And if AI artist is a job that exists one day and I own a company, I will never hire anyone that has it on their resume because I think it's stealing at its core. It is just stealing. So other than that, football game was super fun last night for the first half. Got boring after. Blue Jay game is going to be super exciting, and yeah, next week is going to be full of exciting stuff. We also have NHL training camp coming back soon. Basketball training camp also picking up, so we get to talk about those sports, and we're gonna have a lot more of a balanced sports hour moving forward. You would hope it's gonna be more so 15 minutes on baseball because it's going to be Blue Jays in the playoffs. 15 minutes on Panthers. 15 minutes on Jays. Or 15 minutes on Leafs and 15 minutes on Raptors. You know, that's the ultimate hope. There's also Dynamite and AEW I could talk about. That's always, hopefully the wild card. There is Collision tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that. Do I know any of the matches announced? I think one, there's an 8-woman tag team match, an all-star 8-woman match, which is going to be great. You would hope. I think it's going to be, so. But looking at AEW's Twitter, scrolling through it, AEW Collision, oh yes, it's going to have FTR facing off against Adam Priest and Tommy Billington. Tommy Billington, obviously the son of the Dynamite Kid. So that's going to be pretty cool. And he's had a battle with Dax before, so hey, there's history there. We're going to get to hear from Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis live in the ring. Maybe they're going to talk about Kenny and how they wrote him off. And the All-Star 8-woman tag is going to be Timeless Toni Storm, the women's champion. Mina Shirakawa, the ROH Women's TV champion. Chris Statlander and Harley Cameron facing off against the Triangle of Madness and Megan Bayne. The Triangle of Madness, of course, is Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. It's going to be a very fun match. We're also getting Mark Briscoe versus Konosuke Takeshita on free TV. I cannot wait. This is going to be an unreal episode of... This is going to be an unreal episode. We also got Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. This is going to be an unreal episode of Collision. You watch this episode, I watch this episode, we watch this episode, and we all enjoy it. I'm going to have that to talk about Monday, Panthers to talk about Monday, Blue Jays to talk about Monday. Oh, we're going to have a good time next week, so make sure you stick around. Make sure you stay tuned to Curtis Collings Presents The Sports Hour, Monday through Friday, 12:15 to 1:15. That's all I got for today, so I want to thank you for joining in, sticking around. If you did, if you didn't, well, thank you for joining at all in the first place.